and welcome into episode 8. I almost forgot what episode we're on. Episode 8.
Yeah, last week we had some issues. I wouldn't say technical issues last week. I wouldn't say technical, but it was just a lot of different things going on.
So where we record at, there is a studio to our right, almost said left, right. They're remodeling it, renovating it to make it a more audio podcast studio. And so they're painting down here. They're doing construction down here. So a lot of that stuff happened. So last week just did not happen. A lot of just timing issues just did not work out with that. And we try to, figure out new times and everything.
It happens.
But that studio is almost done for all the audio podcasts. I know that the Cardinal podcast is back. They just interviewed the head coach for men's basketball here. So, they're going to probably be recording in there as well. So some things there to
keep in mind.
Yeah, keep in mind.
That we have a lot of different things going here on North Central Campus. Like, we're not the only thing going around, but definitely tune in to other podcast. We're probably the only podcast, but other shows that's live on air, and different things. You never get you get in tune with everything, and you get to see the full experience of what we do here as students. And I think this is an amazing experience. But typically, Jake, this is our first week since our opening show that we don't have a guest.
Yeah, it's just us two today, so sit back, relax. We got a lot to talk about. North Central Corner, as always, NFL, a little bit of NCAA, NBA, MLB, NHL. It's all jam-packed today. It's almost one of the, the best times in sports here in this October, sort of November sort of area for a lot of sports. And, pretty much everything's going on. Everything. Something's got something going on. So we're going to talk about a lot. So sit back, relax, have a good time. Myron.
Let's start. We're going to get right into it.
All right.
We're going to start with women's wrestling, who dominated their opening meet. They traveled to Michigan, Adrian, Michigan, where they took first place, scoring 422.5 points as a team, going 7-0 in their dual meets. That's outstanding. They saw 21 wrestlers place in the top 8 and 7 which were crowned champions in their respective weight classes.
I mean, we said this when we were talking about the preseason rankings and North Central being ranked number 1. They're ranked number 1 for a reason.
They're dominating. They're showing it already. And if I'm not mistaken, the one young lady upset at the number 1 seed in her weight class. And Coach also tweeted it. He also tweeted about it earlier in the summer that you're going to know her name. And she made a statement for herself, and it's crazy because she's definitely going to be an eye to watch as the season continues to progress. So I can't wait to see what they have entail as they continue their dominance through this upcoming season. They have a lot of new faces, a lot of returning faces as well. So this women's wrestling team is nothing to play with.
The young lady that we're talking about is Yeli Ayok. Is that what we're going to go with?
Yeah, that's how I'm going to go with it.
Yeah, she was impressive, 11-0 with that win. And so, this whole team, very dominant. This whole team, we talked about how pretty much every single one of these wrestlers could go to the national championship to be, in their weight classes, be national champions. We're the best dang school in the land when it comes to women's wrestling right now.
Oh yeah, we're dominating. I wouldn't be surprised if
we have the number 3
recruiting
class with Division I schools.
You know how crazy that is? And these schools have these powerhouses of programs and facilities, budgets, and we're a small D3 school here in Naperville, and it's just like, what can we do? This is all credit to the coaching staff.
Oh, 100%. Coach Norton's got, men's and women's wrestling to the top program. I talk about when I got here, because I'm older than you. When I got here, my freshman year, I had an RA that was a wrestler, and he was talking about just like how the program's like grown and everything, and talked about just the sheer dominance of just the wrestlers that come through here. And it's like, you don't really notice it and you don't really know because, football outshines a lot of things. Right. You talk about the cross-country programs with the track and field programs, triathlon programs. You talk about programs that have been here for a while, that have won national championships, that have dominated the last couple of years. But wrestling has been up there, if not better than a lot of those other programs here on campus that have won national championships, sent wrestlers to be national champions, and talk about a women's wrestling program that's been in the works for 4 years, I think, 3 years, and they're already in the number one team.
Yeah, they haven't been around that long. This women's program, especially across the nation, they're starting to gain a lot of like media and different things. They're starting to see schools put funding into it, and I think we did a great job starting that early. This program, as long as they continue to success, they're going to be dominated for years to come. And then, I don't think teams realize what we have brewing here is something very special. And
then you can also just attest that to the men's program as well. You know, without them being so successful, the recruiting for Coach Norton, you know, could show like, look, we have this coaching staff that is so good here, and then goes out and gets, you know, these girls some to transfer here, some to, you know, as freshmen to sign over here. And then those that transferred, that graduated the first couple of years, are now on the coaching staff, and they have grown this program even more and more. And Coach Norton's kind of just handed it off to some of those assistants to do more of those recruiting. And you see girls now coming from Oregon, like California, Colorado, like all over the entire nation is going to come here to North Central.
That's crazy. We're a small private school here.
And it is ridiculous.
And like you continue to say, it's to them pushing their effort and pushing their athletes to be the best they can be. And a lot of those girls see that, and they get to come here, visit, and get to talk to these young ladies that are already here and loving the program and the things that they're doing and continuing that dominance. And it's just a trickle-down effect. You get one, and you get them to love it, and you get the others to love it. You continue to have that rolling snowball effect, if you get if you get where we're going with that.
Yeah, and then I mean, now years to come, we went from number 3 recruiting class. We could be number 1 next year. We could be the number 1 recruiting class the year after that. Right? We can it's only ups from here with this program. But moving on to another dominant program. I kind of mentioned it a little bit. Triathlon, women's triathlon, captured the program's 5th national championship this past weekend. I mean,
Haley Pope wins back-to-back national championships for herself.
Yep.
She won the individual title, and Bethany Sneed was named D3 Freshman of the Year.
Yeah.
They're dominating. This is what? They won the national championship in triathlon in 2019. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, this is another continuous domination by our women's sports team.
Yeah, I mean, they have been absolutely phenomenal all year long. And, you know, again, talk about the freshman, Bethany Sneed, you know, freshman of the year for Division III. Now here comes another person in the program that could lead this program and dominate, win a couple national championships, bring in more people recruiting, and then you're looking at women's triathlon to be, you know, up there with all the other programs here at North Central to win multiple national championships.
I don't know what to say. I feel like this team doesn't get enough respect, just like women's wrestling doesn't get enough platform and push that they should. They've been dominant for the last 2 to 3 years with both of these young ladies dominating and show that what we're doing here and the coaching staff here is something in the water, and they continue to show that week in, week out, and then they showed that on the national stage as well.
Yeah, so congratulations to Women's Triathlon. They beat the defending champs, Trine University, who finished second, and they beat CCIW rival, Millikan University, who finished third place. Those are the top 3 there, but, I mean, they were all the way in Temple, Arizona, so that plane ride back had to be amazing.
A shell shocker when they came back here and it was 20 degrees.
Yeah, it was 20 degrees too. Yeah, goodness. It's been pretty cold. Moving over to to another women's sport here. The last women's sport we'll be talking about, women's basketball. They opened up their season this past
They're
weekend.
Coming for you, Jake. Well, if you all, I don't think you all could hear it, but they had some sirens go past. Just made a quick joke to Jake. Yeah. They might come get him.
They may come get you, Myron. I don't know.
Hey, I'm going to run. But back to women's basketball. They played UChicago in their home opener. Unfortunately, losing 68-48. But this is just the starting point for this women's team. It's a slow season. It started, but they have a long way to go. I think this is just going to be something slow to like rolling. Lexi went 3 for 3. Lexi Hernandez went 3 for 3 in threes with 9 points in 22 minutes. Megan Duffy went 3 for 2, having 8 points in 19 minutes. So there's a lot of things that this team can continue to build on as they continue to get ready to their next game versus Aurora at Aurora 11-16 and 20. So this is going to be interesting to see how things continue to go. This team is kind of young. There's a few seniors here and there, but it's
a very young team. They've lost a couple of players from here and there that have that did not come back from last year to this year. So they're trying to fill in spots. They're trying to fill in those roles still and trying to figure it out. I mean, again, we saw this team. I do have to they put up a lot of in that second half was completely different. That comeback there that they were trying to put on for a while. I was there at the game and I kind of watched it. You saw that even throughout this entire game, they didn't, lose any fight.
No, not at all.
They didn't lose any
only
fight.
Having 4 seniors and the rest being underclassmen, juniors, and then you have a bunch of sophomores on this team. I still think that they have time to develop and grow, even though they're losing their 4 seniors after this season. But they're gonna figure it out. I think it's just early season jitters, but I think they're gonna be on the road soon.
Someone who did not play last game was Elle Sutter. She had a rest day, so she was not playing. She just got done playing
soccer. So
women's
give
soccer,
her some time.
So
she's going to be on that court soon enough. Don't worry. They're definitely going to get.
But that's
Elle
a key.
back.
That's a key miss.
Without a doubt.
Miss. So they need to once she comes back, they need to kind of get all that sort of momentum, sort of what's that word I'm looking for now? I'm completely chemistry playing together. And so they're going to try to figure it out, and I think they'll be fine. I mean, again, that second half, they scored 16 and 16 in third and fourth quarters. They only scored 6 in the second quarter and then 10 in the first quarter. So, the improvement is there from there. So, I mean, they started off 0-2 so far this season. They dropped the first game 68-64 to St. Mary's College in Indiana. So, I mean, they were close in that one. You talk about, a tough defeat there. So they got to face Aurora this Wednesday, and then as well as they got University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point before they come back home and face Benedictine at home. So I mean they got a tough road ahead. A couple away games, but I think they got it. I think they can figure it out, especially with the emergence of Lexi Hernandez being that sophomore, being that young sort of
spark plug possibly.
Yeah, almost spark plug. I mean she was shooting.
Lights out, 3 for 3, 9 points.
Yeah, 3 for 3 from behind the arc, but I mean, they were not just right on the line too. They were a couple steps off. So having that ability to shoot, is very crucial and very key. And
especially for watching teams with film. When teams watch that on film, they're like, "Oh, she's willing to pull up and take this shot, and it's possibly that she's going to hit it." So you got to be on the lookout for teams to realize that as well. Moving on to our next sport, we're going to go here with men's soccer as they lost.
Before we talk about that lost game, I do have to mention the game that they played on Saturday, right after your football game. They took on in the first round. They faced Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin Superior, and this game was absolutely crazy. First off, it started off no snow, no nothing on the ground. It was just cold, right? It was just cold. I was inside at the women's basketball game. I was helping out with shot clock stuff and kind of helping out with the scores table there. And I was talking to some of the guys that were working around there. And all of a sudden they were like asking, we need to go get a broom for outside. And we're all like sitting in there like, why do we need a broom to go outside? To like shovel off the sides, the lines to kind of get the lines all figured out. And we're like very confused again, trying to figure it out, and realized that it was snowing a lot. It started snowing a lot, and so the game kind of got out of hand. It was 1-1 going into the second half, and then Wisconsin Superior scored in the 80th. I believe it was they scored in the 85th minute. So I mean, you talk about the 85th minute. There's 5 minutes left in the game, plus the extra time, and so you're trying to figure out, wow, they need to recoup. At the same time, North Central was playing with 10 men on the field, so they're already down a man with the red card, and so then everything kind of just fell their way. And
Enrique's goal in the 88th minute. Don't get me wrong here. They scored twice in the 88th and 89th minute. Enrique goal, he started it with a nice goal to go tie it to 2-2.
It was a nice low shot there that ended up curving right past the goalie to get in. And then Daniel Navarro, I mean, there was a play before. It was a corner kick in.
And bounced off his head.
He was running, and then he kicked it ahead, and then he thought off another guy, and Daniel Navarro ended up kicking in the
game-winning goal to go.
The game-winning goal.
3-2. To advance them into this next game we're going to talk about, it was a heartbreaking loss here as they lose in the round of 32, which has never happened in program history. This was the first time ever this program has ever made it to the round of 32. They had an outstanding season. They end up losing to St. Olaf 2-1 in double overtime here. This is the second overtime they lost here to them. They fought hard the entire game, but it just push come to shove. It wasn't their time to continue to play. Yeah,
they scored right away. St. Olaf scored right away in overtime, and then North Central tried to fight back and try to get back and just couldn't get it done. They had a couple yellow cards too, so they were trying to fight off, not trying to get that red card, not trying to go down 10 men.
Right.
But
I watched the last 5 minutes. It was a little officiating was fishy, but that's not my call to make. The bad thing here is you look at St. Olaf held the advantage in shots on goal, 27-14. You're not going to win many games only giving 14 shots on goal, and that's really where we lacked here. But I think it was a lot of the hard fought effort from the night before. Definitely that they couldn't bring that magic over to the next day. But this team going 17-1-4, NCCIW champions, the second time in the conference. They won the conference title, and the first time since 1994 they won it in the regular season as well. And this is the first time they ever made it to the playoff and make it to a round of 32. There's nothing that they should held their heads down low for. They had a fantastic season all year round.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the best teams in the program in their year, and they should not be upset with how the year has ended. I mean, they're going to be upset with how the year has ended, but not upset how the year went. I mean, this is going to show. We're going to look back at this season, even last season as well. Look back at these last two seasons, and when this team in this program wins a national championship, because it may happen in a couple of years.
It's definitely going to happen. I think it's going to happen.
Or at least go super far. We can look back at these couple teams here and go, like, this was the starting block. This was the starting block here. They're ranked 10th in the nation. I mean, next year, if they continue to improve in how they are, and with some of the guys that are coming back, I mean,
a lot of guys. This team, they have a lot of guys should be able to come back. So
it's a very young team. So I mean, they come back. You get some new recruits in. Maybe top five.
Momentum continue to go.
Maybe top five. Never know. We'll move on though to men's basketball. They started off the year where they traveled. They were not playing at home. They were traveling out to Carroll University for a tournament out there, the Carroll University Pioneer Tip-Off Classic. They ended up going 2-0 in that sort of two games that they played. University of Dubuque, they won 81-70, and then as well as they faced off against Whitman College, where they took the dub 77-60. And this team looks very good to start the season.
Definitely 2-0 to start the season, and a lot of people didn't think that they would be able to get back here, especially after losing a couple key guys from the team last year. I think they have shown that they're going to be perfectly fine.
Yeah, losing Blaze Meredith was very crucial, but having both Hellwig brothers, I know we talked about it earlier. We didn't see the roster yet. We didn't know if Matt was going to come back. I believe it was Matt.
Yeah, Matt is the senior. Ethan's the sophomore.
Yeah, so we didn't know which one. We didn't know if he was going to come back or not. We didn't know what was happening with Blaze. Blaze didn't have any eligibility left. But again, this team is controlled by the Hellwig brothers.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, they put up 32
together.
32 from Ethan, and then 23 from Matt in the last game. And so you take away. I mean, it's pretty much just the Hellwig show, I feel like. as much as
you got to ride the hot hands.
Got to ride the hot hands.
If they're hot, you got to continue to roll with it. I don't think the coaching staff is going to see anything wrong with that. I just feel like eventually when teams start to double team both of them or one of them at a time, other players have to step it up. And I think they will step up. I mean, first 2 games, you got to see how the chemistry, like you said before, with the women's basketball team, it starts early. Chemistry looks like it's flowing pretty well, and I think this momentum will continue to go as their next opponent. They play Aurora University. I think this is going to continue to improve their stock as the season continues to progress.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look at the first game of the season, right? You know, Brian Johnson had 15 points, Shea Couples had 15 points, and Matt Helwig led the way with 29, and Ethan only had 4 points in 30 minutes. But you saw Shea Couples, Brian Johnson, they kind of stepped up for them as well. So, I mean, throughout the year, you're going to see those type of guys kind of step up for them and lead them to more victories. So it's not just going to be the Helwig brothers, but last game, it was just the Helwig.
It was just a Helwig. Yeah, it
Some
happens.
days
Sometimes
hot,
it's like that.
You go with the hot hand, you go with the hot ball for North Central. Again, they face off against Aurora University, and then they go up and face off against University of Wisconsin Whitewater before they come back home to face off against Benedictine University. So, yeah, again, when we come back, hopefully they'll be 4-0 to start the season after.
Can't wait to see.
Taking on Aurora and then University of Wisconsin Whitewater. But let's move on to one more men's sport here before we go into your sport.
Yeah.
And to finish off the regular season for football. But men's cross country, they ended up finishing first overall at the regional championship.
Out of 32 teams.
Again, we talked about before, this team's got
country.
so many national champions, so many conference champions. The Coach of the Year award is named after Al Carius, who coached here, and he won his own award for the longest time.
That's crazy to think about.
So this team, again, finishing first seems like, I mean, they don't want to say it's a regular thing because they want to be able to, you know.
When was the last time they have not made? I couldn't even tell you.
It's almost a regular thing. It's almost a regular thing.
This program has continued this dominance, and I don't think anything has changed in the training, in the regiments, the coaching. For what I know, has been the same for the longest of times. Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. That's always been a motto, and Al Carius started that, and they continue to chum the water and continue to keep it going, and they continue to show their dominance as they get ready for their national championship run.
Yeah, they got the automatic bid there for winning regionals, so they automatically made it to the national championship. So, I mean, that national championship will be held in East Lansing, Michigan on November 19th. The men's race is set for 12 p.m. Eastern time, so 11 a.m. our time.
I'll probably still be asleep. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it's a Saturday, so you may be.
I'll probably be woke playing football. I'll be playing a football game. Actually, I will be playing in the football game.
Yes, it is. It is this Saturday.
I'll be playing in the football game.
Yeah,
okay,
so you'll be during a football game.
That makes sense.
I know that probably some people may let you know what happens after the game is over.
I hope so. I hope they go down to East Lansing and dominate and show the country that this D3 cross country team is still nothing to play with, and that they bring home another national championship to North Central to add on for what? We have 40 national championships that add up to
40 something. I think it's 40 something. I don't even know. I think I just say 40 something because I don't know the exact amount.
I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna continue to grow.
It's gonna continue, or we'll have 50 soon.
They should add the women's triathlon teams now. That's gonna add it to 41.
40 team national champions.
So that makes 41 with the women's triathlon.
146 individually and individual and relay national champions.
Wait, would they count that as a relay national champ? I think that should.
No,
if they win,
it would be a team. It would be a team.
Yeah, the triathlon should be a team one.
It should be a team one. So that would make it like 41 national champions and hopefully 42 with men's cross country, and then your guys' run to go back to back appearisses in the Stag Bowl
3 times in a row
is officially
on pace to happen.
On pace. You guys finished as the number 1 team in the nation this past season, 10-0 after a whooping of 63-3 against Augustana. That first quarter, by the way, the first 5 minutes.
A lot of people.
Can we talk about it?
See, I knew you were going to bring it up.
I'm going to bring it up.
I just knew you were going to bring it up. A lot of people thought that. So the first 5 minutes of the game, Augustana looked like they were going to have us. They scored on the opening drive, kicking the field goal. Okay, it happens.
They had a couple passing plays.
We haven't given up a touchdown since week 4. I'm probably going to jinx it now that I'm talking about it on air.
Knock on wood.
But I'm going to knock on some wood because it's not going to happen. And then our offense get a 3-and-out, and then we fumble the punt. So then Augustana gets the ball on our 5-yard line, but Angelo Cusimano steps up and makes a great play by picking off their quarterback in our end zone to give the offense back. And after that, the rest is history. Offense goes down and scores. Defense gets to go back on there, and next play after that, make them fumble. We get the ball back. And like you said, we continue our dominance, scoring 21 points in the first quarter, 21 in the second, 14 in the third, and one touchdown in the fourth, going up 63-3. And we are officially crowned CCIW champions as well, being, like Jake said, number 1 in the country. And our next game will be coming up this Saturday versus the Lake Forest Foresters. So it's a close game. They're not too far. They're up in Lake Forest, about maybe an hour away.
They don't have to travel. Not like I think it was it last year? I think first round they had to travel all the way from
Carnegie Mellon had to come from
Pennsylvania.
I think Pennsylvania.
It was Pennsylvania. So not too far of a travel for them. But again, this is going to start where this is playoff football now.
Oh, it's cold.
It's going to be cold. It's going to be a lot of running the ball, a lot of.
This is real big person football. Like, you win games by running, tackling, and passing. Realistically, that's how you win football games. It's the basics. If you don't win without doing the basics, and the coaches always say that, do the basics, you win every football game.
I gotta ask, what was the sideline like after those first 2 4th-and-outs for the offense, and then having Cusimano just say, no, don't worry about it. I'm going to get an interception here and then get a fumble recovery here.
You think about it. It's like, well, this kind of happens. It's senior day. A lot of emotions. We're not together as a team.
A lot of standing around before a game.
Yeah, so it's like, well, with us not having all our seniors and captain and our leadership as a group in the same room with us before the game, and they were being honored, and I'm proud for them. They did their 5 to 4 years here, and they should be honored, and that's the ultimate goal. And I just think that the vibe was off.
Okay.
It was so many emotions and different things. We just weren't first snap ready. And it happens. It was senior day. And like I'm going to continue to say it happens on senior day. But after that, this didn't happen all year. This was the first time all year that this has happened to us, that it looked like, wait, we're not ready to play this football game. But it was just too many emotions. And I think once after that first 2 drives happened, we were locked in and ready to go. And I don't think that's going to happen again this year, because we're going to be together, and our leaders are going to continue to coach us up along with the coaches. And we're going to continue to push forward as we look to make another run to our next 3rd Stack Bowl.
Yeah, looking to make that run. And, I mean, your receiving core's a little depleted with a couple of injuries there. But Nick Rummel stepping up and getting a couple of big gains on some passing routes.
Switching from defense to offense, Nick Rummel is a Swiss Army knife. He played receiver in 2019. Last year he played defensive back, and earlier this year he's played defensive back.
He transferred in from Iowa State being a receiver, I believe, right? And then he switched over to defensive back, and then he was like, well, with all his injuries, you were a receiver, so let's switch you on back. And he also does punt returns. He's
being a selfless teammate.
And he also does punt returns as well. I mean, like,
he's putting the team first. He's a team first guy, and we're gonna continue to thank him for it. Many other guys. We have some guys like Jamar Daniels step up to take his place on the defensive side at corner. So, and he's getting coached up by a lot of that back 7 as well. So there's a lot of good things happening here, especially with guys stepping up and making big efforts in their roles as well.
And speaking of that defense, 6 total sacks. I mean,
7
total sacks. 6 in the first half. Had 1 in the extra there. I was thinking of the first half. I did the halftime report, so
it's okay.
And I mean, again, you start slow, but then you ended up, just right when you score the first touchdown, it seems like you're kind of ready to go after that. And North Central, again, will be facing off against, you guys will be facing off against Lake Forest College, the Foresters, in the first round of the CCIW playoffs. I guess I can ask you, what what are you going to think about going into this game, going into playoffs? Does the mindset kind of change at practice a little bit because it's now playoff football, or is it still the same old?
It's 1 week at a time. This is real. This is where the real football actually starts, because you're not guaranteed no more football after this week. So you have to practice like every play in practice is your last, and you have to look at every game and every opportunity that you have to be with your brothers, that it could be your last opportunity. I totally don't want this to end anytime soon. And I don't want to let my fifth-year seniors and my fourth-year seniors go out on a loss. My ultimate goal as a teammate is to give my 100% effort and show them that I care, and I want them to go out as champions and crying of tears of joy and not tears of sadness. So I think the mentality in practice doesn't change. Just how can you say this? The
mindset is a little bit,
not really say the mindset, but like I can't figure out the word at the top of my head right now, but it's just like
you'll think of it and you'll be so mad at the end.
I'm gonna think about it at like 4:30 in the morning. It's gonna make me upset that we're doing this podcast right now.
You're gonna wake up to the bathroom and be like, this is the word
I was looking for. But basically, I'm just trying to say that it's a hiding expectation now that we need to. There's nothing guaranteed after this week, and every team that we play for, including this week, that they're a good football team. They didn't go undefeated or 9-1 or whatever their record is for no reason. They play good competition just like we did, and we're never going to look over a team. We're going to take it a week by week and continue to push forward. And I can't wait to play this weekend versus the Lake Forest Foresters. They're going to give us their best effort, and we're going to give them our best effort. So
nice. I like it. Good little motivational speech there. Myron, we'll stick with the college sort of football, but we'll move on from North Central Corner to the NCAA football to kind of just stick with the realm of college football. It's getting down to it, Myron. It's getting down to
Alabama having 2 losses, and they're out of the contention to make the playoffs.
They are out of contention. But what we first want to speak on a little bit is just we want to give our condolences to the 3 Virginia football players that were killed today in a mass shooting with the from an ex-player is in custody for University of Virginia football. I know that this was kind of devastating. Just mid-season this kind of happens. So, we just want to give our condolences to the Virginia football program, to the friends of the players, and to the families of the players. Nobody should really be going through that. That kind of happened. It was a kind of a surprise a little bit. I think, I woke up this morning and I was like, wow, like, never thought, that's kind of the one area where you don't think it's going to happen. And it kind of does. So
yeah, it's a lot. And sending prayers and condolences to those families and the football team and the rest of the campus, as this is a tough time for them, a tough time for people across the nation, as well as we continue to try to figure out what we can do as a nation to get better and stop these senseless acts of violence.
The 3 players were Levon Davis Jr., junior wide receiver, junior receiver Devin Chandler, and then as well as junior defensive end and linebacker Deshaun Perry. But I know that this weekend's gonna be a little emotional for them. But if I'm somebody here, I think I would be trying to play my heart for them, like heart out for them, and figure it out, and figure out any way to win for them.
Definitely.
At this point. But as we move on to the college football rankings and kind of going over all those rankings, college football playoff CFP rankings will come out tomorrow. Again, this is Monday. Tuesday they have the rankings. But mainly, let's just talk about, Alabama.
Who's your top 4?
Alabama, 2 losses. My top 4 would be Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU. They're going to all stay the same. They all won.
TCU should not be in there.
They all won. And then I'm going to go with Tennessee and then LSU. They all won. So
TCU
I think
hasn't
the top
played
6,
anybody.
I think the top 6 stay, man. I think the top 6 stay. They still went undefeated.
They haven't played nobody.
They played Texas.
The last time a team went undefeated, who was it? UCF. And they didn't get an opportunity to really be crowned national champions.
But they're in the Big 12. They're in a better conference than UCF was. Again, we got a couple more weeks before the actual You know,
when it's crunch time, yes.
You know, when it really matters. But going into the last couple of weeks here, Georgia, do you think they can?
They're dominating.
I mean, they're an NFL team.
Pretty much.
They dominate.
Do you think that Georgia can beat the worst NFL team?
No.
Okay. No. I'm glad we agree on that because
NFL,
if you were about to say
different.
yes, Jake, I was going to ask you to leave.
I just said as the aspect of like compared to the other programs they're facing, it's like a whole nother level. It seems like.
I mean, if you look at them versus Alabama, they looked at real competitive. Like, those
they
two teams look competitive.
Again, Tennessee beat Alabama. They go face Georgia, and Georgia just,
embarrasses them.
Talk about the best offense in college football, Ohio State.
Ohio State looks. Their receiving core is crazy.
It is criminal that Marvin Harris Jr. cannot come out of this year for the draft.
That's he has to stay crazy. One more year. He has to stay another year.
Yep.
I think he's a top 5 pick next year.
100% a top 5 pick. CJ Stroud, potential number 1 overall pick right now. Heisman Trophy favorite
not to the Bears,
now.
But
not to the Bears. That's fine. We got a quarterback. We'll talk about him finally. A little bit. But do you think Michigan and TCU have a chance?
I mean, I think if Michigan beats Ohio State, yes.
Okay.
If TCU still has to win their conference, so whoever they have to play in their conference, I don't know if TCU should be in the top 4.
Okay,
I don't think they should make it. I think Tennessee should be number 4.
Okay, then who's your top 4? Then you got Tennessee at 4. You got the top 3, and then Tennessee 4.
Yep.
Okay. If LSU goes on and defeats Georgia,
LSU jumps into the top 4.
Does Georgia stay?
Georgia falls to 4.
So he stays in the top 4. From that on,
but then you got to think about it. Who wins the Michigan and Ohio State game? They fall out of the top 4.
Yep. This is kind of what I love about college football. I hate about the playoffs, right? But I also love it.
Actually, I don't even know if
these conversations,
top 4.
Right? If these conversations, this big what if scenario, and this is the best chaos scenario you could have for this year. Ready? Alabama wins out.
Mm-hmm.
USC wins out and wins the Pac-12.
Okay. They upset TCU.
No, USC. Pac-12. Pac-12, not Big 12. They went out, win the Pac-12 with a 1 loss. LSU, 2 losses, wins out, beats Georgia in the SEC. So they're SEC champions with 2 losses. Tennessee wins out and only has 1 loss. Their 1 loss is to Georgia, and they beat Bama. When they were number top 4, pretty much top 4. I forgot if Alabama was 1 at the time. I think Alabama was. But TCU then wins out and wins the Big 12. Michigan, the only loss that they have is to Ohio State. Ohio State wins out, wins it, and Georgia with 1 loss. The only loss is to LSU.
I don't know. That makes that so hard.
Michigan with 1 loss is a very good team, right? If they lose Ohio State by a field goal.
That makes it even worse.
That makes it even worse. So they play Ohio State. They lose off of a field goal. They have 1 loss. They're only big. I mean, they face Colorado State. They face these bottom programs.
They do this on purpose,
right? They do it on purpose, but they face these bottom programs to get those wins. But then you have TCU at the undefeated spot. Is that a better?
I don't know.
Tennessee has a better schedule compared to Michigan.
I feel
right?
It's like if TCU even gets put in there and they have to play any of those SEC teams, they're going to get blown out the water, especially if they have to play Georgia. Georgia is going to embarrass them.
I know, but
it's going to be a pitiful. I'm like, why did you put them in there? It's like there's no point to have a team like that, knowing that they're going to lose.
With all that chaos that I just gave you of like the final week of the regular season, right?
I don't know if I can give you a top 4.
I would hate to be in the committee room. First off, hate to be in the committee room,
especially if it goes out like that.
Do you know how they do it? So what they do is they put up a group. They almost like, how like World Cup they have the groups. They almost do it that way.
They make regions.
They randomly put teams in 4 groups, and then you're supposed to rank them.
Mm-hmm.
And then another group comes up and you rank them, and another group comes up and you rank them, right? And they do this repetitively all night long.
That's
all
crazy.
Day long. They do it. They do random. They put like they can have your top. The 4 that they could be ranking from could be like Georgia, Oregon State, and Tulane, and Alabama. Right, and you're supposed to rank that at top 4, and then you can also do like Georgia, Texas A&M,
U of
I, and it could be also Ohio State, right? And then you're supposed to rank it, or it could be like Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, Tennessee, right? You're supposed to rank them. It could be they do random, and they rank everybody 1 through 50.
Wow.
But they only show the top 25.
True.
So they have to do this whole process of that, and I thought it was pretty interesting, like kind of understanding that of like that's how they do it.
Right.
Is they just figure out, okay, who you're voting for the most at 1, 2, 3, and 4 when it comes to these top teams, and then it's like after that they have a debate.
At the end of the day, I'm not in the committee room, so that's a good thing. I don't know if I could do it at all. So it's going to be interesting, like you said, these next few weeks to finish up the regular season, who the committee puts in their top 4, and I don't know.
I would hate to be doing it. I still think Georgia was probably going to win out. I still think Ohio State's going to win out. So those two are kind of automatically in at this point. And then, from there on out, I think it's going to be, just a fight for the finish. Because TCU, they almost lost to Texas. So if they lose, they're done. And then do you go with the 2-loss LSU program if they beat Georgia? It's just a lot. There's a lot that has to happen for certain teams. But this is what I love about college football. I love wait. About it.
Can't wait. Like you said, it's a lot of drama going on.
It's a lot of drama. The game of Ohio State, Michigan is up in 2 weeks.
But Michigan could lose to U of I here now.
Yeah, Michigan could lose to U of I. Like, there's a lot of games that are going to happen. Alabama, Auburn's always a good one. So there's some good ones that are coming up.
Georgia could lose too. You never know.
Never know. But then when we move on to another college basketball that has been going on, only a couple games here, only 3 games, but University of Illinois here for, this team is very good.
Yes,
they lose a couple of guys, but they gain guys back. They have Dane Deja, 6'9", taking over Kofi's spot. Terrence Shannon Jr., they've taken over. Those 2 guys are going to lead this program. They're ranked right now in that top 20 right now, I believe at number 19, yeah, so they're just outside that top 20 there. But North Carolina, Gonzaga, Houston, Kentucky, Baylor, Kansas, Duke, UCLA.
Brad Underwood knows what he's doing at U of I. But I think he continues to bring this program. It started with IO, and I think they're going to continue to get into the top 10 eventually in this season.
Top 10? Yeah, I could see top 10. It's going to be a very tough battle to get there. There's a lot of good teams this year in college basketball, it seems like. I'm still going to ride it. I think I've picked North Carolina to win the national championship the last 4 years.
And they did not.
And they have not.
I don't think they've won in the last 4 years at all.
I know they have not. I don't think they have now.
That's tough, Jake. You need to switch your team. Watch, it's going to be the year you switch your team and North Carolina's going to go on to win.
That's
tough, my brother.
Yeah, we'll see what happens later on. We'll talk about it. Did you like them playing at a basketball?
What you mean?
Baseball. Sorry. Playing basketball at a baseball ballpark.
That was different.
And then
I also like
they
do the
aircraft. They do the aircraft, I think, almost every year.
That's different, though. The basketball at the baseball stadium is so different.
Did you like it?
They did the football, D3 football at the
the Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium.
I think that's cool. It gives them out of their element, and it's something totally different.
Hey, man, go win a national championship. Maybe you'll play at Soldier Field.
No, we're going to play at the Navy base.
We're going to play at the Navy base.
Jake, I think you know what time it is.
Is it new segment time?
Yes, it is. I'm ready for it. It's something new. We really haven't tried it lately, or actually at all. So it should be interesting. I hope you all enjoy it. Definitely give us feedback on how do you think this is going to turn out for us.
So what we'll do here is have Myron will be doing his top 3, bottom 3, big 3, little 3. In the NBA, and then later on in the season he'll give his picks at the award winners after a little bit more basketball is played. He gets a feel for what
it's only
teams
about
are
15
doing.
Games.
Yeah,
15 games. I can't give you a MVP candidate in 15 games.
Yeah, so he's gonna look at kind of what the players are doing, who's kind of shining, who's kind of thriving, what teams are kind of doing. For me, I am going to talk about big 3, little 3 for NHL. Best 3 teams right now, worst 3 teams. It's gonna be a weekly segment, a weekly thing that we're gonna do, and as well as for right now at least, I'm gonna give my picks for the awards, just because certain awards, I should say, like the MVP, the best goalie, who's going to score the most goals this year, and as well as best defenseman, at least those four, to kind of give it started a little bit. But then, we'll go on from there, and then we'll talk about a little bit more when it gets on later on in the season, how the awards are kind of looking out, shaping out, and doing. I guess I'll start, just because.
You want to? Well, yeah, yours is a lot longer than mine, so I'll let you start for sure.
Okay, so for my big three, little three, we'll start with the little guys, all right? We could throw around the Hawks. They've been terrible this season, but I'm not going to throw them in the little three because they've surprised us a little bit.
Oh, yeah. All
right, they've surprised a little bit of us. What I am going to start off with, though, I'm going to start with the number three for me, and this is not by rankings. This is not by, standings or anything. This is just our personal opinion of who's the three worst and three best. For three worst, I'm going to start with number three. I got the Vancouver Canucks. They started off, I think, losing their first 5 or 6 games. It was not great. They didn't play great hockey at all. They're minus right now, minus 13 score differential. I mean, they lost the last 3. They've just not performed very well. This team has a very high young core. I mean, you have Quinn Hughes leading the way in sort of that core, plus with, let's say, Patterson as well. So you have those type of young guys to kind of go off of, but they just have not shown growth, the rest of the team. Bo Havert has not really shown growth. I mean, he's played a very great season so far, but just has not shown the growth there for Vancouver. So, again, I'm going to throw that at them at number 3. At number 2, I have the Anaheim Ducks. I think this young core, again, there's a lot to worry about for this young core, but again, they kind of started to figure it out a little bit. Zegras is Zegras. We're going to love and watch him do his thing, doing the Michigan, all that fun stuff. But, they're sitting right now in last place in the standings with 9 points, and then minus 26 goal differential. Real bad. They've lost the last 3. But they're not the worst team, because the worst team right now, according to myself, is the Columbus Blue Jackets, who's also tied with the Anaheim Ducks. And the reason why they're the last team is because they were hyped up to be one of the best teams. They made a trade last year to get Patrick Laine. They ended up signing Johnny Gaudreau. It was the Johnny Hockey sort of sweepstakes over the summer. Where was he going to go? He signed there, and they have been terrible. They ended up also getting traded away Seth Jones during that time for the Hawks here. They brought him to us. They have the young core, the younger defensemen, but they just do not look good. At one point, they were losing, I think, 4 games in a row. Then they would get a win, and then it would be back to losing 4. And then they get another win, and it would be back to losing another 4. So, they have done terrible right now. They're coming off of a victory to the Flyers and losing to the Islanders. They are going to face the Flyers. They have to turn it around if they want to do anything in the Metro League, because the Metro League is one of the hardest, conferences, divisions in all of hockey. For my best 3. And it's going to be very plain and simple. It's the best 3 teams right now in hockey, points-wise, standings-wise. Number 3 is going to be a little bit, I'm flip-flopping it. Number 3, Vegas Golden Knights. They're right now ranked number 2 in standings. They have a plus 22 goal differential. They've played very well on the road so far, 8-1 on the road. Right now, they lost recently, but, they are, they're one of the best teams. They're a reason why they've gone to the Stanley Cup Finals in their inaugural season, and then going far in the next season. So they've done some things, and they've gotten guys back. Jack Eichel looks amazing. Had a hat trick against the Buffalo Sabres and a comeback, and a nice little return to home sort of game. My number 2 team is the New Jersey Devils. They've won 9 straight games. Jack Hughes looks like he can have 100 points this season if he performs, with this plus 17 goal differential. They play very well on the road at 5-1, but they also play very well at home with 7-2. So they have dominated. They're at 24 points right now. And then the best team, the Boston Bruins. They are the Boston Bruins. They have plus 30 goal differential. They started off. They haven't lost at home. They're 9-0 at home. They started off their best starts of the season in all of their history of the league, and they're one of the original 6 teams of the NHL. So they're off to the greatest start of all their entire season.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And then I guess to go on with, those are my top 3, bottom 3, and then for my picks to win, sort of the MVP, sort of all that best defenseman stuff. I'm going to start off of this with at least, a favorite and then a dark horse. For the Hart, for the MVP, Connor McDavid. He has like 30 points in like 15 games. he's pretty much scoring 2 points a game right now. Absolutely insane. My dark horse is Jack Hughes. If he can get to 100 points, I think he can easily come away with a nice little, steal of the MVP award to Connor McDavid. Plus, with the New Jersey Devils being the third best team, I think if they continue to do that, they're going to be absolutely insane. My Rocket Richard, first off, my pick, I'm wearing his jersey, Alexander Ovechkin, but that I guess is technically a dark horse, but not really, just because of the goal seasons that he had last year. But the favorite right now to win it is Austin Matthews. I don't think he's going to get it this year. I think Connor McDavid has a potential chance of getting, Hart, Rocket, doing all the things. But again, Alexander Ovechkin, my favorite, my dark horse for this sort of for this award for being the best goal, for having the most goals this season, is going to be David Pastrnak, the Pasta. He has 25 goals so far this season. He's not favored at all really much on the top sort of guys there. So I'm going to go with Pastrnak. Call him Pasta pretty much. Boston Bruins. Yeah, Pasta. He's the Boston Bruins winger. So that would be my dark horse there to win that award. For the Vezina, for the best goalie right now, Igor Stezderk. I definitely butchered that. I apologize. He is the goaltender for the New York Rangers, and then Andrei Vasilevskiy is in second place there. My favorite right now to win it is going to be Andrei Vasilevskiy. He's going to be one of the best goalies later on this season. But my dark horse is Linus Ullmark. Ullmark. There you go. Linus Ullmark. He has 11 wins this season for the Boston Bruins. Surprisingly, one of the best teams in hockey. He has a .936 per save percentage and then a 1.96 goals against. So, he's going to be my dark horse right now. He's not favored at all really much to kind of win that award as of lately. And so, dark horse there. James Norris, best defender, Cale Makar. Don't even have to give a dark horse for this one. It's Cale Makar. He's going to win it. He's a winger playing defenseman. Let's just go with that. He's a winger playing defenseman. He's absolutely ridiculous. There's a reason why his comparisons to the greatest defenders of all of hockey, because he is going to be one of the, if not the greatest defender in all of hockey.
That's a big statement.
Yeah, it's a big statement. It is a big statement, but I'm saying, at least I would say, let's clarify it, best offensive defenseman ever to play the game. We'll go with that. We'll go with that one there. Had to change it a little bit because I thought about it for a second. I was like, whoa, that's a real big statement. I had to change it there, but those are my I guess hockey segment, hockey wrap up there.
Well, I'll go straight into basketball. It won't be as long as Jake's. But
yeah, I had to give awards or whatever. Yeah.
All right. I don't know. Should I start with the top three or should I start with the little three?
Start with the big three.
We're going to start with our top three. This team I'm going to start with has dominated the league. They finally lost their first two games a couple of days ago. The Milwaukee Bucks. They looked like they were unstoppable to start the season. They were undefeated, and they were just dominating teams. And Giannis didn't even play every game. And it's crazy to think about. You're winning games without your star player. You're still doing something right here. My next team has to be the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies look like they're going to be something to reckon. Like, John Morant looks outstanding. He is playing out of his mind lately. This team has been feeding off of his energy. Somebody, I forget, it was a tweet by one of their players, and they say ever since they got to Memphis, all they listen to is NBA YoungBoy. And they said they listened to it from breakfast to dinner time. So I think the Grizzlies are somebody to continue to look out for. And to finish my top three, I'm going with Boston Celtics. They didn't look to start the season like they were going to be that good, but I think as these last couple of games have shown, they have dominated and shown that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to be a dominant duo once again that this league is probably not going to be able to contain. And the Celtics have continued to grow around them as well, and they have different pieces that I think they can make a run in this Eastern Conference along with this Bucks team. That this Eastern Conference, I don't know what's going on with the bottom half. And this top half, there are definitely two good teams that they're going to be on the lookout for. And Memphis is on the rise, so don't worry if you're a Memphis Grizzlies fan. And my bottom three teams, I feel like I'm going to start with this first team, because I don't think they should be down here. It's just early in the season. I'm going to start with the Golden State Warriors. They're 5-8. And you're like, why are they at your bottom? Because they're 5-8. the last year champions, and you're 5-8 coming into this year. There's something going wrong. It's not Steve Kerr. I just think it's time. It's gonna grow. This team is gonna get better, but right now they stink. I think they're having some growing pains with them kind of still being a little young in certain spots around Draymond, Clay, Jordan Poole, and stuff. I think they're gonna figure it out. But right now they're not where they need to be. This next team, I'm gonna go with the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls have too many weapons and too many pieces to be sitting at 6-8. I don't know if they did enough in the offseason. I kind of really didn't like their moves with Goran Dragic. He was a point guard. I didn't think we needed one. I know Lonzo's hurt, but I feel like this team could have did something a little bit better. I like the Drummond. He can help with the big mans with like Joel Embiid, but it hasn't really worked out so far. And Vucevic isn't playing like Vucevic when he was with the Magic. So DeMar and Zach LaVine and Io, they have to figure it out until Lonzo gets back. And it looks like Lonzo is this missing piece, because if Lonzo comes back and this team clicks, we're going to turn it around, I think. But right now, this team doesn't look too good. And this team is just absolutely horrendous. This last team, the Los Angeles Lakers, scrap it, throw it away, lock the key, fire everybody because you're 3-10. How are you, the Los Angeles Lakers? Kobe didn't even do this bad, and he was playing on torn Achilles. You have LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, and a bunch of scrubs. You got a guy that was delivering pieces last week, playing and hitting game-winning shots. I just don't know what they have to do to figure it out. There's a lot of issues here with this team. I just think it's more so they fired their coach, got a new coach, and he hasn't did anything good either. I don't know if they're just not good playing with each other. They need to make a trade, but I don't think they're going to be able to trade Westbrook for anybody that's willing to give them something for him. They're trying to give up picks in like 2027, but no one wants that. They want something that's going to be able to turn around right away, and no team is going to get that from the Lakers because they can't trade back-to-back year picks, so they have to go years out because they traded for Anthony Davis, and it kind of has screwed them. And those are my bottom three, and those are my top three teams in the NBA. But later on, I definitely will give you who is going to be my MVP, my Defensive Player of the Year, my Sixth Man of the Year. As time goes on, they've only played about 15 games. I can't really give you that. It's too early to tell because injuries can happen. Teams could switch. Players can finally get their act together. Like, you never know what goes on in this sports world. So it's going to be interesting as time continues to grow.
Well, those are our big three, little threes for our segment. I think we just go on to NFL.
Yeah.
I think we just go on to NFL. A lot of things happen. A lot of things have happened. Jeff Saturday went from ESPN to being the head coach
of the Indianapolis Colts, and he has never had any coaching experience.
Nope.
A lot of people are mad about that.
Justin Fields went from playing good, playing bad, playing good,
to playing outstanding,
to playing way above what anybody else thought. Setting 5 NFL and Bears records. He took Mike Vick's record.
He took the Bears rushing record. He took the 5 games in a row record or something like that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Ridiculous. I mean, Tom Brady's 2-0 after getting divorced.
Hey, I guess that's what he needed.
Just football is just absolutely insane right now. And I think we just, the better way to put it, and I've seen a lot of people kind of say, is like, I mean, it's just a roller coaster. It's just whoever wrote the script, the fake, the script for the NFL this year is absolutely insane. I guess we'll get into Jeff Saturday is kind of the biggest sort of name right now being talked about. I mean, did you like the move? Were you surprised? I mean, we also were surprised.
I was surprised.
Did you like the move of Jeff Saturday?
I
now
don't
that
know.
they've won?
I don't know. I really didn't put any thought into it. I'm like, Jeff Saturday, he was a good player, played with Peyton Manning. He had an outstanding career, 15 plus years, I think.
Yeah, 15 plus years, 13s at the Indianapolis Colts, I think 2 with the Packers, won a Super Bowl with the Colts and everything. So
I think this was a Jeff Irsay just like I'm
Jim
swinging
Irsay.
Jim Irsay, yeah, just swinging for the fences after firing his coach mid-season. I think he's probably going to be able to get him to turn around because this past weekend was the first time anybody on that staff has ever called plays in an NFL game. So
and that
was interesting as well. I mean, they won, but I don't know. I think Jeff has been given an opportunity of a lifetime, and I don't think he's not going to make it worth every second.
I mean, this is going to help former players.
Yeah, if you could just,
I mean,
like,
if
I don't
he
need to be- I
continues
don't
to
need
be,
to coach.
if he needs to be successful, if he, let's say, be successful, and he puts guys around him. I mean, you do think about now former players now having a fast track to
becoming head coaches,
being coordinators.
and they'd be like, "Well, I don't have to coach. You hired Jeff Saturday, and he never coached a day in his life."
Mm-hmm. Jeff Saturday was on the Pat McAfee show, and he was talking about how he brought up like Aaron Boone went from ESPN to the New York Yankees. You know, being a manager for them. You talk about Chauncey Billups, you know, was being on ESPN and now, you know, was being considered for head coaching jobs and considered for coaching jobs without even coaching, right? You've seen a lot of other MLB and NBA sort of analysts, you know, start there and then move on to manager positions or head coach positions. So why not the NFL? Why not?
It's a process. We're going to see. I think this is going to be a good move as long as it continues to turn out to be a great move. So we'll see how the season finishes.
Yeah, they have a couple of key games. They have the Eagles up next.
If he beats is the Eagles still undefeated?
Yep.
If he beats the undefeated Eagles, they're going to say this is probably the best hire ever.
Again, we were saying this on Monday. Eagles play Monday night. But as of right now, they're the best team in football at 8-0. And if they're still undefeated after tonight, they go ahead and face, or still undefeated after the Monday night game. You know, the Eagles could potentially.
They play the Commanders.
Yeah, they play the Commanders. So. The undefeated Eagles will go on and face the Colts. If he beats the Colts, I mean, let's say he beats the Colts and loses a couple more games from here on out. I still think it's a kind of a success. I mean, you beat the Eagles and you beat the Raiders, you beat the Eagles. Then you have the Steelers coming up, the Cowboys coming up, Vikings, Chargers, Giants, Texans. I'm looking at 1, 2, potentially 3 more wins for Jeff Saturday.
Yeah, the Texans, the Giants.
Oh, I wasn't saying the Giants. I was actually saying the Steelers, the Chargers, and the Texans.
You think he's going to beat the
Chargers are very up and down.
Right now.
Giants are pretty good. Vikings are really good. And the Cowboys are, even though they lost to the Packers, I think are still pretty good.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I'm still saying you could potentially see him, win 1, 2, 3, 4 games, go 4-4 as a head coach. I mean, that's successful, and you may give him another season.
No, he will get another season. Not maybe. I think they didn't make this hire just to be a stopgap. I think he made this hire to be possibly long term.
Really?
We're going to see. I don't think you just hire this guy to be your head coach and just not name the offensive coordinator interim head coach until the end of the year, or the defensive coordinator to interim head coach until the end of the year. You made this decision based off of this guy's going to turn this around. We don't need to search for nobody else. I want this guy back. He brought our organization to where we are, and he was a cornerstone for this organization. So they made that decision. I think that's what he's going with. He's putting his neck on the line with Jeff Saturday. If Jeff Saturday turns out to be a great decision, he's going to keep his job a lot longer.
Okay. I mean, you're not wrong.
So I mean,
I just kept thinking it was just an interim head coach, and if he becomes successful, in the last couple of weeks he becomes successful.
He wasn't with the organization.
He was a interim guy.
Oh, he was. I thought he wasn't.
No, he was not. He was not interim. He was a consultant.
He necessarily wasn't a consultant. I don't see consulting being a part of the organization because you're just consulting. Wasn't he doing ESPN stuff too?
Yes.
That's why I say he wasn't a part of the organization. Like, he wasn't officially hired in anything other than just being a consultant. So I think this was a big move to name him head coach.
So the Colts get a win. Bears lose, but Justin Fields plays absolutely fantastic. He has broken records. He has got, I think, maybe 2 turnovers in the last couple of weeks, right? He's played absolutely phenomenal. Do you think he's kind of figured it out finally?
I wouldn't say
he's not fully.
No, I think he's just making. I don't think I can say this on here, but he's making a situation where he knows this is a dumpster fire out of nothing. I think he's finally realized that this team isn't going to be good, so he has to just make use of his legs. Because in college, he was known for throwing the deep ball. He really didn't run. He really didn't run a lot. If you watch his college tape, he was always throwing.
He was just athletic enough to make those plays and kind of scramble if he needs to. But he was a more pocket passer in college. It was spread out. It was spread offense. He moved around a little bit. The NFL though is completely different.
I think, not gonna lie, at this rate, what he's showing on film and on tape, I think they should change their playbook to what the Ravens run for Lamar.
Yeah, we said this now. I think we said
he's shown that he can run Lamar Jackson's offense.
He can.
Hey, imagine the Bears sign Lamar this offseason and you have Lamar and Justin on the. Hey, that triple option is nasty.
It is.
You can have both of them throw the ball. That's sick. But I think that he has figured it out in the NFL wise, but I just think the Bears aren't a good team for him. I hope they continue. He continues to show that he's going to be a franchise quarterback, and he's shown that these last 5 games. And I think the Bears this offseason will put a lot of pieces around him to make things right.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that with the next couple of weeks, I think you still try to figure out. But the crucial offseason is going to be this offseason.
Oh, $135 million in
most crucial offseason here coming up for this Justin Fields led team, because you want to put a team around this guy who is absolutely amazing. And first off, I think is dropping the stigma of Ohio State
quarterbacks stinking in the NFL with Bears.
Yeah, dropped it there. Bears quarterback being drafted, right? Being, Bears quarterback. It's always been defense. He's dropped that stigma, I think, just, starting this year. So I know it does. But he has been, changing minds a lot when it comes down to, just everything that has gone on with this team. But right now, when we look at this upcoming week, we make our picks. We'll see how we do.
Let's do it.
Have not seen what we've done this past week. Waiting for Monday night to get over with before we see what we did for previous week.
Before we go too far into picking these, to pick the games, I think the Bears made a trade for Chase Claypool, giving a 2nd-round pick and giving up our draft pick for this year, which we're doing absolutely terrible. And he has only played his first game. He played 26 snaps. And in his second game, he played 19 snaps. So what does that say about us or about him?
Thinking about it, I want to say that it shows
he's not ready.
There's 2 things. One, he can't get adjusted to the playbook yet. He's having trouble trying to figure out the playbook.
Right.
Number 2, I think the way our playbook is just not benefiting him. So I think those are 2 reasons.
Yeah, because if he's not playing and they're not putting him on the field regardless, like, look, just go out there and
this next week, he has to play the full game.
It's been 3 weeks since he's been traded. So if he doesn't know the playbook decently by 3 weeks, you're getting paid to be there. This isn't high school or college anymore. What are you doing in your day? I really sound like I'm one of those guys.
Oh yeah, get off my lawn, old guys.
Like, what are you doing? Like, you're brought here to be Justin Fields' next reliable.
Yep.
Because Darnell Mooney is getting double teamed every play.
Yeah, pretty much. That's all you have to do, because Dante Pettis can't catch a ball, and
he stinks.
Cole Kmet's finally figured it out. So
kind of figured it out.
He's figured it out in the last couple of weeks. So that's a good thing there. We've kind of realized we went from being no Cole Kmet to yes, Cole Kmet. So finally, it took a while here, but you have to have another target. And Chase Claypool was supposed to be that guy. I think this week coming up with the Falcons, they need to implement him a lot more.
I mean, we're paying Brandon Pringle $7 million, and I don't think he's played yet this year.
Yeah. No, he's played a little bit.
$7 million down the drain. That guy.
Yeah, it's pretty much. But let's move on, I guess, to the picks here. I kind of talk about a little bit more about games and stuff like that. Titans, Packers Thursday night.
Packers.
Give me the Titans in that one. Bears, Falcons, bear down.
Bear down, Chicago Bears.
We need Chase Claypool to step up in this game.
Need somebody to step up.
Step up in this game.
Defense is not going to do it.
Help out Justin Fields. Browns and Bills. I got to go with the Buffalo Bills, but this past game that they had was absolutely insane. The last 5 minutes.
Who's quarterback in the Browns? Is it week 11 yet for Deshaun to come back?
It is week 11.
So is Deshaun Watson back?
I think Deshaun Watson comes back next week. I think it's the 12th week. Believe.
He was cleared to practice. I think it is next week.
Not this upcoming week, but the next week. I think he'll be back. Week 12, not week 13. Or week 12, not week 11. I think he's going to make his start.
Yeah, because it is 11-week suspension.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to the Bills because Deshaun isn't playing. If Deshaun was playing, I was going to go to the Browns.
I'm going to go with the Bills no matter what because with that game against the Vikings, absolutely insane, by the way. Don't know how that's...
Shout out to Jay Jettis.
Hey, game of the week, and you're on 1 o'clock time slot. 1 o'clock time slot.
Crazy.
Couldn't flex it to Sunday. That game was absolutely insane. Bills kind of got, first off, at the goal line, you stopped Kirk Cousins, and then you fumble the snap. On the ensuing possession, you fumble the snap.
You screwed
to
yourself
give up
over.
a touchdown. You then drive down the field with the best drive probably we'll ever see.
4th and 18.
Well, no, not that. That was just Jay Jets.
You're talking about the Bills.
Bills drive to go tie the game with a field goal.
That's crazy.
That drive was 41 seconds long. They go down the field and tie the game. That's how good that offense is. And then defense-wise, they stop them to hold a field goal. And, Josh Allen ends up trying to throw a ball in double coverage. Try to force a touchdown, and when he didn't need to, it was second down. All he needed to do was just get a first down and kind of move the chains a little bit, or maybe get the a yardage kind of back from.
He saw Jay Jettis made that play. He was like, we got to get Stephon one, and it just didn't work out.
Eagles Colts. I really want to go. I know. I want to pick the Colts.
I'm sorry, Jeff. We just talked about you.
We
Sorry.
just talked about you. I really want to go Jeff because I really want to see him succeed.
Go ahead and take it.
I gotta get back. I want to keep beating you in this pick 'em. So give me the Eagles with that one. Jets, Patriots. Give me the Patriots.
Jets.
There you go with the Jets. Okay. Rams, Saints.
Rams. They both stink.
They both are terrible. I'm gonna go with the Rams as well. Lions, Giants. Give me the Giants.
Dan Campbell got these Lions going crazy. But I'm not going to Lions.
Okay. All right. I wanted to make sure. Ravens, Panthers. Give me the Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah. Commanders, Texans.
This is a bad game.
It's a real bad game.
Hey, Lovey. I'm going you, big dog. Get it together. I'm going Texans.
Give me the Texans. I'm gonna go with Lovey as well. Raiders, Broncos.
Let's ride.
Give me the Raiders.
Broncos.
Cowboys, Vikings.
Vikings.
With the Vikings.
After what happened to the Cowboys on live television on a Sunday night?
It's not 1 o'clock Kirk. It's 3:25 game.
I'm going 3:25. I mean, look what you just did last week.
Yeah, it was a 1 o'clock game.
Yeah. 3:25. That's fine. A couple hours later. He better get it together. He better put some chains on.
I'm gonna go with the I gotta go with the Vikings. Bengals, Steelers. Give me the Bengals.
Bengals.
Chiefs, Chargers, Sunday Night Football. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. And then 49ers, Cardinals, Monday Night Football.
If Kyler Murray plays, I want to go Arizona. If Kyler Murray plays.
Okay.
Because I don't think did he play this weekend?
He did not. He had a hamstring injury.
If he plays.
Colt McCoy played. They ended up winning that game.
Colt McCoy is still in the league?
I think it's Colt McCoy's backup. Yep.
No, wait. How old is he?
I think Colt McCoy's backup. Give me the 49ers in that game just because I just think that it's going to be a little bit of a difficult game there.
This guy is 36 years old. He's still in the league. Oh, my goodness.
Difficult game there. Before we leave, Myron, those are our picks. Before we leave, World Cup right around the corner.
USA.
You're just gonna ride USA. You're not gonna talk about any other team that could potentially win this all. No. Their first game is Monday, November 21st. They face Wales, and then they go on and face their next game.
I mean, what,
is
you got
up
like
against
Argentina,
Black
Spain.
Friday. Yeah, Argentina. You got Spain. Those teams, are going to be good. Mexico is going to be. I don't know if Mexico is going to be that good this year. France is going to be good.
France, yeah.
I mean, they're going to have to face England, right? They're in
England,
that. They're in that England. Germany's very good as well, so it's going to be a little bit difficult here. But hey,
if I don't go USA, I go like Spain or Argentina.
Yeah, if I didn't have to go for the hometown and go USA, I would actually have to go with
France. France is good too. I forgot they have a bunch.
I'm gonna go
players.
with Germany.
Oh, Germany?
Maybe. I'm gonna try to see what the odds are and kind of. I guess I'm gonna pick from there.
No, that's cheating. That's cheating. But okay.
No. You know what? Instead of USA, it would, because if the only way it's gonna work is if it's gonna be USA if they make it out. I'm going to go with England. If USA doesn't make it out, I'm going to go with England. But I'm going to ride with USA. I think the LeBron James of soccer is going to get it done for us.
Hope so. Hope somebody get it done.
Christian Pulisic. You got anything else today, Myron?
No, but I think this is outstanding. This was outstanding today, especially just being us for the first time in a while. Mm-hmm. I hope you all enjoyed this show today because this was a lot of running around. It was so crazy today.
Hopefully we'll have on a guest for next week. We will, let you know. Check us out. We got a new Instagram now.
We do.
We have an Instagram now. I believe it's going to be. It's on the screen. It's on the screen, on the bottom of the screen. But it is Between the Lines 891. If you want to give us a follow. We'll have reels up there, posts up there, and stuff like that. Graphics up there, and stuff like that, and talk about all the stuff going on with Between the Lines.
Can't wait.
As well as follow the TikTok BTLA91, as well as the Twitter BTLA91, all that other stuff, all that fun stuff. A link's in the description. Y'all know what to do. Subscribe.
You know the vibe.
Myron, you gonna end it or am I gonna end it?
I'm gonna keep it going. You know the deal. And that's a wrap.